All right, so we are recording, and I will kind of give a start. Okay. Welcome to another hour with Rod. I'm your host, Rod, and on this episode, I sit and talk with two members of the band Wolf and the Wereboys, bassist Pizza Steve and guitarist Horse. So look forward to that. I'm going to keep this intro pretty short so we can go ahead and get to the interview, but I do want to thank everybody for listening to the summer movie preview episode and sticking with me while I fumbled my words over some of those movie summaries. It might surprise some people to know that I don't have any copy that I go off of on these episodes. I might write a keyword down or something that might help jog a topic that I want to talk about, but as far as like hard copy, yeah, there's no hard copy, and I kind of after listening to the last episode, I kind of figured, if I'm going to do movie summaries, I should probably have the summary of the movie written down somewhere so I can read it. Because, I'm like, well, the guy was, I think he was a playwright or no, he was just to kind of alleviate some of those little things. But I think the episode went well. It was fun to do. And I really enjoyed listening to it. And I appreciate everybody else for downloading and listening to it as well. And once again, if you'd like to email the podcast, you can email the podcast at anotherhourpodcast@gmail.com if you are a musician or an artist or a writer or whatever, a panhandler, whatever. If you do something interesting, you want to talk about it, send me an email. We'll see if we can get something going. So without any further ado, I'm going to go ahead and get into the interview with the members of some of the members of Wolf and the Wereboys. But first, I want to go ahead and plug their upcoming shows, so you guys can get these at the top of the show. My cat's always trying to get into my studio. Is this cat? Mimi, let go of the RCA cord. Mimi, let go of the RCA cord. Let go of it. You don't need that. No, Mimi, let go of it. Mimi. She had her claw somehow hooked into that RCA cord. Anyway, that was interesting. No, but I just want to go ahead and plug their shows here at the top, and you guys can go ahead and check these guys out. They play at the Office Sports Pub in Whitestown this Saturday. That's tomorrow. So you don't have any excuse. There's nothing to do. I'm going to sit home on Saturday. If you're in the area, you're on the north side, especially, go ahead and give them a listen. You can give them a listen on SoundCloud. Just look them up, Wolf and the Wereboys. Give a listen. You're going to like it, and then you're going to want to go to the show tomorrow, Saturday night, at the Office Sports Pub. But by chance that you're one of the many listeners who get this, who listen to this podcast days or weeks after the initial release, they are playing April 8th at the Fountain Square Southeast Community Services Building at 11 p.m. Once again, that's April 8th. You can check them out in Fountain Square Southeast Community Services Building. And then, bigger than that, you can check out them and 99 other bands on May 14th at the Virginia Avenue Folk Festival. Get there at noon. They're going to be the first band playing. Check them out. So once again, you can go on SoundCloud, check them out. Wolf and the Wereboys. You go on Facebook, check them out, Wolf and the Wereboys. Just go ahead and get on Facebook, like their page, and get in the stream. That way you'll know of the dates of any events or anything, any shows that they've got going on. And SoundCloud, they've got a great variety of tracks available for listening. And I'm going to go ahead and play us out with one of those. You should be hearing it right about now. There it is. And let's go ahead and get in the interview here. This is my interview with two members of the band Wolf and the Wereboys. Welcome to another Hour with Rod. I'm here with Horse and Steve from Wolf and the Wereboys.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining me tonight, guys.
Thanks for having us.
You're the first guys to test out the new studio space that I have had the luxury to be provided for me, and I appreciate that.
So far, it's great.
It's pretty nice in here.
Sounds pretty good.
Nicer than my house.
Right. So basically, to kind of tie everything together here, James, you and I have been friends for a long time. We've been in and out of bands, and I think everybody from that Frankfurt scene has been in a band with each other. At
Right, right. Totally.
At one instance or another. And you always interested me because you're always doing stuff. You're still out there. You're still playing music, playing shows, whether you got something going on or not. So I always wanted to have you on the podcast. You're one of the first people I thought about when I decided to make this podcast. So I appreciate you coming down, man.
No problem, man. Thanks.
And,
Thanks for having me
doing
on.
the band thing. So I'm gonna start off. Is No Coast No More? That's the last band I remember before you sent me the link to Wolf and the Wereboys, which by the way is a great band if you guys haven't checked it out. But we'll get into that.
I couldn't tell you, man.
Yeah.
It's more of a joke amongst friends at this point.
Right. Yeah.
And it's fun keeping it that way because if we decide to play another show, we'll just say, okay, let's practice one day this week and then play next weekend or something.
Right. Sort of. So not like. Not putting a kind of indefinite status leaves
Right.
it always open for possibility.
Right, because everybody still wants to be a part of the band. I can't really speak for everybody, but I feel like we're all friends enough to where we would play if we wanted to, just we're too lazy to practice.
Yeah. And that's really what it comes down to, man. I think, and that's one of the things I've found that I even push for myself is that having success in any artistic endeavor, especially nowadays in the city, whether it be painting or writing or playing in bands, that you need to have the motor to run it. I mean, you need to have the time to do it, and it gets harder and harder to get four guys together.
Right.
And have families and trying to do other things, and I can only imagine.
Just when it becomes a chore, it's more like, okay, well, we're just gonna.
Right.
Take it easy and then let it go where it goes.
Right. So the new group, Wolf and the Wereboys, you're here. You're in a band with Steve. You're the bassist.
That's correct.
Bassist,
yes.
Yeah. And James, what do you do? Horse.
Play
I'm not
guitar.
used to calling. I don't know. When did that start? I don't know. I don't ever remember.
Oh man, I couldn't tell you. Probably before I was born.
I don't know why we call him Horse, but we do it.
Yeah.
So there you go.
I respond to anything.
And this is Pizza Steve, correct?
That's yes. That is.
Is there a story behind that one?
What was that show? Uncle Grandpa.
Uncle Grandpa.
We were watching Uncle Grandpa at where we practice the warehouse where we practice, and there's a character that is a slice of pizza named Pizza Steve, and he seemed pretty great. So I guess they thought since he's great and I'm great that we should have the same name.
Yeah.
All right.
Makes sense. Yeah.
And it's funny.
So you guys are in a band, Wolf and the Wereboys, and you practice in the warehouse.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and
is it spelled? It definitely spell it warehouse.
Oh,
right.
right.
Oh yeah.
It's not a warehouse. That's not what it was made to house. Wares? No.
No.
No. That's just what it. So is it just what do you guys practice in? Is it a garage?
Living room.
Or it's our own space? Just somebody's living room? Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah. Single guy?
Two of them.
Two of them. Yeah.
Myself and Tim,
Right.
who's not here with us because he's out somewhere in Broad Ripple, I assume.
Right.
We're roommates and we both play music. We've known each other for about 14, 15 years off and on.
Mm-hmm.
And this whole band came together over the Random Band Challenge where they drew names out of a hat. And so once they drew my name and Tim's name to be in the same band, I was kind of like, wow, that's crazy. I think I'm actually going to play in this band.
Oh, right on. So explain the Random Band Challenge. That sounds interesting. And this is the inaugural Random Band Challenge, right?
Correct.
And it's held in Indianapolis here, or is it a national thing?
This.
Well, I guess to draw names out of a hat and play with the guys, you got to kind of be here. So
This event is totally a local thing.
Right,
My
right.
understanding is that it was inspired by a similar event in Cincinnati, I think, somewhere in Ohio. So it's not like
Right.
The one here is its own
Right.
thing.
No, that's nice. Yeah, that was a dumb question, but I mean, I think about it. So basically, no. So people show up, they put their names in a hat, and is it based on they have a hat full of drummers, a hat full of bassists, or
No,
Nope.
they said these 5 people are going to be in a band. If you have all drummers, it's amongst yourselves to work that out. You can trade musicians, whatnot, and go from there. So
Nice.
you could have been out of luck. And I think a few bands, they started out like that and then quit. I'm not real
Yeah,
sure.
I don't know. I mean, all the details, but there were 50 people signed up, 5 people per band, so 10 bands, and I think at the event there were
8 bands?
7 or 8 that were 2 or 3 had dropped out. One of the bands didn't show up, so it was down 6 or 7, and then
Well, one of the members did. Jared was in that band.
Oh, yeah.
So he showed up, but his band didn't.
okay, and most of
really?
most of the bands
Right.
had at least 1 or 2 members that where schedules didn't work out for them to get together, practice or for whatever reasons. But we were only one of only 2 bands that actually still had all 5 people
Wow.
in it.
Right.
So what's the time limit there? So when you get picked, how long is it until you?
It was about,
So you so you
6
get
weeks?
picked and then you rehearse for 6 weeks.
Yeah.
And then there's a performance there at the end.
Right. 35 minutes. I think that was the criteria. Like you had to play for 35 minutes, and you had to write a song based off of a word that they just randomly gave you. And ours happened to be Mount Rushmore.
Mm-hmm.
So our father of rock and roll,
Right.
Wolf, penned it out, and right there we go. We had it.
Yeah, I heard that track. I think it's available online. Yeah, it's really good. I liked it. And how long? So that was So you had to. So now I'm gonna go back to Jared. So he showed up, but he can still be like, this is my band, but it's only him. So
Well,
he had
he
complete
didn't play.
creative freedom.
He just went to hang out. We had a few weeks prior. He and I discussed it, like, oh yeah, I'm in that thing too. I'll do it if you do it.
Right.
Okay, yeah. And then he drops out, and I'm still doing it. Like,
Oh, right. I
all right,
see,
man.
I
You at
see.
least have to come and hang out now.
See, yeah, that's the way it works.
Well, we
Yeah.
skip-
The
I-
buddy
we-
system.
We almost skipped the most important part. For the reason we're still doing it is we won, and part of the main prize, I guess, was a slot in in the Virginia Avenue Folk Festival. But so we had to keep it going for
Nice,
that, and
nice.
have just played a few other things, but that was the main
I believe
reason.
the very next day after the challenge, who was it? Elvis Myers had asked
Mhm.
Wolf if we would play another show about a month later, and we all kind of said, well, hey, might as well. If we're going to play again in May, we need to stay sharp.
Yeah.
We need to build more material and just be ready. So we
Right.
did it.
Nice. And so now you guys have stuck together, and you. And how long has? Okay, now I know you probably have said the dates or whatever, but how long has it been since that? Since you guys got together in that challenge?
The challenge was December
5th, I
5th or
believe.
8th, or it was in
Something
the
like
first
that.
week and a half
Right,
of
right.
December.
Cool. So you guys are just getting rolling, man, and it sounds great, man. I'm excited. So where can people see you guys playing? What do you guys got anything coming up? I want to kind of hit this off at the beginning and the end here, so make sure people know where they can see you. I know this weekend you're playing somewhere, correct? I saw the Facebook thing.
Whitestown at the Office Sports Pub.
Yeah, so if this comes out Friday and you're hearing this before us, what would be Saturday, the what?
12th.
The 12th? Then check that out. But more importantly, you guys are playing the folk festival, is that correct? Is that the Virginia Avenue one that you were mentioning earlier? Is it a different one?
It's the same one.
Same one.
The
So
second one.
so he asked you guys to perform at that, and that's what's coming up here.
Yeah.
Right.
And when's that?
That is Saturday, May 14th. It's if you don't know about it, it's a really cool event. There's I think 100 bands this year.
Wowzers.
I think upwards of 10 different stages, all up and down Virginia Avenue.
Nice.
In Fountain Square. But
Nice.
we are playing the main stage. We are
At
the
noon.
first act.
Wow,
Yes.
wow.
Wow.
12 noon on the main stage. Some of the stages start earlier than I think some of the stages start as early as 9 a.m.
Wowzers.
Wow.
But we are playing at noon on the May
Yeah.
14th there.
Tight.
And it's and I almost forgot the best part. The Folk Fest is completely free.
Oh, sweet,
Yep.
sweet. So if you're not doing anything, there you go. You don't have any excuses now.
And it's family friendly, right? I'm
Yes.
sure it is.
Yeah.
It's outside. It's
Yeah.
free.
See, so
As family
look.
friendly as 100 bands can be made to be.
Right, exactly. So don't say there's nothing going on and blah blah blah.
We can't make any promises for the other 99 bands,
Right.
but we will
May-
certainly be family friendly.
Right. And they'll
That
be kicking
data's-
it off. You're going to want to get there early anyway because you want to beat the crowds and you want to see as many of the bands. Man, 100. And how long is the festival? How long does it run from? Did I already ask that? I might have.
No, you
All
didn't.
day.
You pretty much all day. I'm not sure
100,
offhand.
so they're going to kick
but
them off with a couple stages all day.
into the evening. Last year, I mean, it was dark by the time it was over last year. I remember that. So I mean, it's got to be at least 8 or 9 or something like that. The full schedule is on their website.
So there you go.
VirginiaAvenueFolkFest.com.
There you go. Check it out. You know you want to. You know you're going to. I'm gonna go. Yeah, I'm definitely. I love when shit's going on down there. It's just a nice little walk for me and even me and my son. If I have my son, usually we just head downtown and see what's going on and see what's shaking, man. But so I know some of the guys from the group couldn't be here tonight or whatever for whatever reason, and I'm glad that you guys both came and are able to talk with me. But I want to kind of get into it a little bit deeper because we got to go deeper on this one, on this show. Try to dig in. We're gonna find out where you went wrong and why you were, I don't know, an artist still pursuing his passion. So James, where did music start for you? When do you remember going for whatever it is? When you first would go, I want to play the guitar, or I really love that song, or like, what was the very first memory you can think of? Going deep.
I would say when I was a child growing up, listening to rock and roll, my dad would just play the best records and chase me around the house, like dads do.
Right.
And it would just be so much fun.
Yeah.
And so that kind of developed into what it is today, I suppose. But more specifically, I'm going to say I started to learn to play guitar about 14 or 15, pardon me, and I had went to St. Louis to see the San Francisco Giants play the St. Louis Cardinals, caught a foul ball, and managed to get to like the exit room where the Giants would come out. And so I had all these autographs, and I was big into baseball at the time.
Right. Yeah.
Barry Bonds walks out, and I'm just like, oh my God, will you please sign my ball? Like begging him, I'm just a child at this point,
Right.
and he's like, just snubs me. And after that, I was like, okay, whatever. I'm just gonna play guitar, and that's that.
So
That's the definitive point where I said, okay, you know what, baseball is kind of cool, but not as cool as rock and roll.
Well, so it was something being turned off on you that sort of opened that door.
Right.
I figured you were going to say Barry Bonds came out and he strummed like in a medley for you or sang something a cappella, and you're like, no, I have to do this now. What about you, Steve, man? What's your story? Where'd you where are you from? So we know James and I are both more or less from the F town. We represent Frankfurt.
I'm from northern Indiana, a town called Middlebury, Elkhart County, little east of South Bend, all the way up north. But I guess when I was a kid, I always loved music, I guess, and then I joined the school band or at the end of 5th grade. I played trumpet.
Yes.
And I played that all the way through high school. Early in high school, I had my one of my best friends, my cousin, was a drummer. I had some friends that played guitar, a good friend that played keyboard. But nobody played bass, so I was like, I should get a
Isn't
bass.
that always the case,
It's
right?
always
the
So
case.
I can play in the band. And it just, for whatever reason, it just clicked with me. I took to it, and then that was. I got my first bass for my 16th birthday right after my freshman year in high school, and continued to be in band and everything, but played. I played basketball for a few years in high school,
The height
which,
thing, right?
Yeah. That's pretty much all I
Tallest
had.
dude in the group.
That's pretty much all I had going for me as far as basketball was concerned. But I played, in the school band and bass on my own time. Then my senior year, I didn't play basketball, and I played it's still trumpet and band, but I played my bass everywhere that they would let me, basically. Jazz band, show choir, pit orchestra, that kind of thing.
Right. Yeah.
And then kept playing, kind of casually through college, and then got a band together with some guys in college, and actually got out and worked, bar band kind of thing. And when we cut an album, just basically just for ourselves to have said that we did that.
Oh, nice. Can you still find it anywhere, or was it just sort of a limited release?
Well, I still have some.
Yeah. That's what we call limited release.
We had it. It was on CD Baby.
Out of print, you say.
It may still be available on CD Baby. I can't confirm that, but the band was called Black Roof Country, or BRC, because we got tired of explaining that it wasn't a country band.
Oh, nice. Yeah,
but
I can see how that would be a problem.
But yeah, it was pretty much like rock, blues, classic rock kind of thing. We played a lot of covers because you have to play all night at a bar. But
Yep.
But yeah.
Nice. So, and what are some of the records you first remember hearing your dad? Because mine, I remember the old Chicago records that my dad had. Just the covers of them more than I remember him actually playing them. I remember my mom playing music more.
Right.
She would do the thing where she cranked the radio up while she cleaned on a Saturday, and you just hear, oh, Mickey, you're so fine, whatever's at that time, or Beach Boys. But the coolest thing was Beach Boys. Hearing Mom cranking 409 and all that stuff was nice. But what about you guys? What were some of the bands that influenced you when you had no choice on influence?
Beatles, Stones, Hendrix, Blue Oyster Cult, Doors,
Yeah.
anything major from the classic rock era. And plenty of things that I don't remember, but I've discovered along the way. So
yeah, no, that's definitely, and those are all like, I don't think you said Floyd, but those are all.
Floyd,
that's all.
Who,
You know what
Zeppelin,
I mean?
Doors.
That's
get
when
into all of them.
that's the good shit. That's when you're just because I'm going through who's the Edgar Winter group, isn't the guy the pale dude? I'm going through that shit. Like I'm trying to
crazy.
I didn't have Zeppelin. I had Rick Springfield. You know what I mean? This is all right. And I guess maybe that's where our paths diverge, because you obviously have an awesome sensibility, and it looks like it started from the beginning, man. Cool. What about you, Steve? What was the situation of revolving around music that you first? I know you got into the trumpet and everything like that, but before then, what was around in the house? What was Mom playing?
My parents were and are enormous Eagles fans.
Nice.
Which is cool. And I listen to a lot, I've probably heard every Eagles song. I couldn't tell you what album most of them are on, but I've heard all of them.
Right.
Hold on right here. I'm going to put... Okay, cool. Now, I just wanted to edit point. I was going to put in the scene from, what is it? Big Lebowski, where he says, fuck me.
Yeah.
No, the Eagles were big at my group, too. You can't really escape them. Somebody's just found, somebody's ex-wife or something was just found shot to death from the Eagles. Do you guys read this?
I saw that.
What the hell's that about? I didn't follow up on that shit.
It said it was... I think it said it was a founding. Remember, I didn't recognize the guy's name.
Me neither. Yeah, I'm like, don't check off. I don't.
But they certainly. I mean, they had several people come and go. I guess maybe it was early. Maybe what's the maybe he's like the guy. What's the guy's name? Pete Best. Maybe he's like Pete Best.
Oh right,
but
yeah,
for the Eagles.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know. I saw the headline too, but I didn't read it.
Right. Yeah. Huh. Interesting. So so what are some of the shows you guys have played so far? And I want to talk about kind of the scene India's got. What do you guys think of about the scene and some of the other? I mean, do you guys think that the city provides enough? I mean, as far as supporting a good independent music scene?
I would say so. I always enjoy playing in Indianapolis. It's a different scene. This band is different from other bands I've been in previously because it's not as punk rock, I suppose.
Right.
we've got more of a Tom Waitsy vibe that we're starting to develop.
I was gonna
Yeah.
bring that up. I
Yeah.
really did, but I didn't want to bring it up. You know what I mean? It's like I'm not gonna mention anything about
It's-
Tom Waits.
it's
but
different.
But no, it's really good. It's like the best of Tom Waits because some of his stuff, I'm just like I can't follow you, man. I'm sorry. I don't know where you're going, man. I don't know what if you're clanking on trash cans and howling in the
Right.
wind, man. You know. Yeah.
Well-
But no,
well-
I love Tom Waits at the
Well,
end.
Wolf has that growly, scratchy voice like that.
Right.
So it's and he loves Tom Waits. So that was just a kind of a fit. And he has what, like 3 albums of his own
Yes.
stuff that is recorded. So we've picked up a few of his. It's just kind of like singer-songwriter
Right, yeah.
stuff that we've picked up, and we really ended up with a sound without really having to think about it too
Right.
much.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
It's very good. I like the stompiness to the track I heard. I just loved it. It was, like I said, the best of what Tom does, you know. But still not really. I mean, and it, that crazy banjo part in that track too. I mean, that was just, yeah, that was sick.
There's
That
a
was sick.
certain ambience that comes with our live set that I really dig.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
I don't really notice it on stage, but if I watch the video or listen to it later, I'm like, what is that? Is that a banjo? Is that Tim just going crazy on the mic? What's going on here?
It's both sometimes.
Right,
Yeah, no,
right.
That's awesome. I love that stuff, man. Yeah, that's some of my favorite stuff to do when I was recording was after laying down all the tracks, just coming in with, like you said, some ambience.
Yeah,
and just filling stuff in, and then that gets lost because you don't end up playing those tracks.
like
that part
like in
live,
Cyanetics,
you know?
man. Cyanetics
yeah.
plug. Yes.
Cyanetics. Oh yeah. So no, and I'd like to get Evan on too. I've talked, and he's on my list too. Like I said, this is a way for me to talk with my friends, man, and get the word out there that there's a lot of cool shit going on, and I think there's still people like to say there's no scene, but you
That's not true.
you gotta make it. You know, the scene's
gotta
at
search
the
it
end
out,
of the day, like when you guys look back at the end of whatever ride you're on, you go, oh, you see the people that are in it younger at that time
Right.
will talk about your era, and will go, there wasn't what scene? No, there wasn't a scene. No, but there are people watching, and there are people I think that dig it, and I think now it just seems like you gotta fucking grind. I mean, to do anything beyond like if you wanted to be a full-fledged successful band, like how much does that weigh into like what you guys do as far as a band goes? Are you looking at that, or just trying to literally when you have the free time get together, play shows? Is that something you guys discuss as far as
Not too much. I mean, it's at this point, it's kind of just been what's coming up. Like we're just focused on what we have to have ready for the next show.
Exactly. Stressing out over learning like 50 songs that we've only heard
And
a few times.
I will say, I feel like we're kind of falling in the middle somewhere. Like it takes. I mean, if you really want to, I mean, if you want to make a living, as a professional musician, it takes as much work as any other
Exactly.
career. And I mean, we all have jobs and that kind of thing, but we're also definitely putting in the time to get ready for the stuff that we're doing. So
And it goes back to something you love becoming work. And hey, I made $16 for playing for 45 minutes.
right? You can't. Yeah, no, you can't.
You can't.
Look at it like that.
Right.
Not at all.
You can't just work it to death. Otherwise, it's not fun. So
That was my hat. Sorry. And it was my hat again.
right.
But no, and you're right. No, and I'm. But it's just it's interesting to me, and it seems that you could have really what it boils down to. I think for me, that from the bands that I've heard around here that have been around for a while or whatever, it's just staying together, no matter what capacity. You don't have to be touring around making a complete living out of it. But if you are playing enough shows around, and there's, I think, more than enough venues in this
Totally.
metropolitan area that like you just become part of their vernacular, just like a Reverend Peyton or something,
Right.
What do you think that guy just stuck around? I mean, and eventually it's like, oh yeah. Especially I think honestly with the name like Wolf and the Wereboys, that really does help too, because
there's something about that sticking in the mind of Hoosiers. Because think about, like, when I think about the most popular bands from Indianapolis right now, it really is Reverend Peyton, and then Here Come the Mummies. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So there's this. It's weird, and it's like, oh, well, why are they? It's just because they just keep a presence, and obviously they have the gimmick of the mummy thing or whatever, which I go either way on, depending on the day. So what do you guys think? What about that theatrics? You've gotten into theatrics of the show. Is there any kind of?
We're more of a skit band. We do our antics. They're a little bit different.
We try to have some shtick.
Right. Totally.
You need to have some, like, you gimmick or whatever. You need to have something that, and this isn't even something we've talked about. I've talked about this with some other guys that I've done other stuff with. You want to have something that makes you memorable. So if somebody has seen you, somebody's talking, people, have seen you talking at work, so I'm like, oh yeah, I was out so-and-so last night and I saw Wolf and the Wereboys. Like, do I know who that is? And like, oh yeah, they're the band that does this such and such thing. And like, oh yeah, I've seen them.
They do all that silly stuff for about 10 minutes before the last song.
And that's what I was alluding to as well. And I even think about that for this podcast, which if you go to the site, you'll see there's a bunny hat. Bunny head is the symbol for it. And it's just one little stupid fucking thing.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be anything big. Just
right? No,
something that stands out.
Right? Yeah. No, I agree. Yeah, that's what I mean. And then, like I said, just sticking around and I get to see so many good bands, especially the guys that some of the bands we've been either involved with or known from back in the day, where it's like, you guys were so good. Oh, why can't you just keep playing? You know what I mean? Like, you can go to work, like you say, you can call it for a minute, and chill, but why break up, But it's interesting to see Cyanetics, though, is still going around. I'd like to get talk to him, because he's an interesting cat. But it didn't. So do you guys have sort of? Is there? You mentioned anything about like sort of a free form to it? You say, well, you said more of an ambient feel to it. I was just wondering, do you guys have songs where you just jam it off, or are they pretty much written and you guys...
One comes to mind. Right. 32 Hours is kind of it's structured, but we try to keep from organizing it so we can still have fun with it, and then by the end of the song it builds up enough to where we all lock it in, and it's it's still fun to play.
Right. Yeah. Because but so what are some of the best aspects about being in a band like Wolf and the Wereboys for you guys?
It's easy. I like it.
Well, yeah, when you master the guitar, right? Is that what you mean? Like,
no,
it's
like
easy. Just like the when you guys get together, when you guys play, it's easy.
Like being that and being the fifth wheel. Like, that's kind of my job, and I like it because it's not too much responsibility. And, I can chime in here and there. In fact, one of the Tom Waits songs we're going to cover this weekend, I'm not going to play at all, and I love it.
Oh, really? Is that the cigarette break song for you?
It's going to be, I think we're going to play it.
You be the hype guy? You just hype the crowd?
Something like that. I'm not sure how this is going to go, but...
Well, I would say we got a lot of songs where you're kind of come in and come out and that kind of thing, and just
like the Bob Ross. I'm just painting trees.
There you go, painting trees, happy little accidents.
At the same time, with this whole thing with the folk fest and Wolf, Chris is that's like folk music is his background. He's a big Tom Waits fan, that kind of thing. But the stuff Horse does is, I would say, the biggest thing that makes that you won't listen to us and be like, oh, it's folk music, because there's definitely more
too much punk rock.
There's more of an edge on it, and the guitar stuff is I'd say that's the biggest part of that.
Right. I mean, I've heard people call Bright Eyes folk, kind of, like he's the second coming of Bob Dylan. It's sort of a looser term nowadays. I think it more or less is more of a term that kind of is given to people that sort of represent that idea of what the folk singers and stuff were about then. And
I don't want to go on a whole thing here, but I think, honestly, there's way too much specification, too much subdivision in, like, musical genres. Like,
oh God, yes.
You talk to somebody like, oh, well, what kind of music do you play? And if the answer starts with, well, it's kind of a mixture, then especially anymore in the days in the days of YouTube and social media, you want, what does your band sound like? Watch this video. Let's listen to it and hear what
Right,
we.
you tell me
we
what you
sound
think it
like.
is.
Yeah.
I would call us. I would just say folk rock.
Yeah.
And leave it at that.
So that's a good thing, because I've heard the social media kind of, not social media so much as the internet and file sharing kind of crush the record companies. It's interesting to think that is it is almost better to kind of be like, here's the YouTube right here, check it out, and in 2 clicks they're listening to your track, and you don't have to. Feels like you get past that buffer of the genre buffer. What are you at?
Right.
Like, what, that shit drives me nuts. Even when I've tried to categorize mine on in the early days of the internet, when I had music and stuff on Facebook, it's like, or some of these early internet radio sites, you just kind of, people would just throw their music on into streams, and you had to categorize it because that would, whoever was listening to this genre or whatever. So I learned categories based on that, and like, this is what you're telling us. I don't think it's stuff even so much is coming from rock journalists anymore than it's come from people at Apple that need to categorize things or something nowadays. Because, like, Acousmastic, I remember I have an Acousmastic tape song, which is, I guess, sort of a field recording of some conversation with an acoustic guitar under it. I guess that's you know what I mean? It's like, I don't know. I guess.
That's stretching it.
But yeah, anybody, and I don't even know what somebody can explain what Acousmastic is.
Couldn't tell you.
That's the first I think I've heard.
There you go. It was created, I think, Winamp or one of those programs.
Winamp. Holy cow.
Yeah, I had it as a category because that's how I used to tag the tracks before I would put them online, because I didn't know how to put all the information on a file back in the day. Throw it in Winamp, and it had all the and you could select the genres and all that shit. But I digress. So we're talking about the fun things about being in a band nowadays, man. I can imagine too. At this level, where I think you guys are pretty close to being a really known act here in Indianapolis. You guys, how many shows have you played since the last
3
random band challenge?
2 or 3.
We played the challenge, which was, if I didn't admit, that was at Radio. We played another second show
At
there.
Radio.
And then
Was it the Sinking Ship
too. I think that's been
3
nice,
shows.
nice. And how have the responses been from the audience? You guys get a good. I know sometimes, man, it's be really hard.
Most of our friends
Like
just lie
shows
to
at
us
the-
anyways.
Right. Well, shows at the Melody where like you're just you don't know if people are really how much they're paying. You have your
Right,
group,
right.
You know what I mean? But it's nice when everybody that's at that venue is there to check out the band.
I think that's where Tim and Chris come in,
That's really cool.
because when they do their little thing, people start paying attention.
Right. Yeah.
You
Yeah. Nice.
But we have gotten some. I mean, I think very good feedback and response from the audiences we've played for and everything. So
Yeah.
it feels like we're getting some good
yeah.
traction.
Well, I hope this helps. I think you guys can help me with my podcast just as much as I can help you promote.
Nice.
Too, because we're just both of us. I mean, really just trying to get stuff going. I'm 10 or 11 episodes in. You guys are 3 shows in, so we're both at the same level where it's like, what are these guys doing over here? Oh, it's interesting. I take it though you don't have any stories of any ladies, any groupie stories yet, James? Anything? Has it worked in your favor that way yet, James? How does James do
Why
after
are you
shows?
singling me out, man?
Because I know you're. Well, I shouldn't say I know. I assume you're kind of a bachelor right now.
Like the bad boy? Yes. Okay. No. Batting 0, man.
Batting 0. What about you, Steve? Anything at all in playing in bands? How have being in a band? There you go. I'll reframe it there. How's being in a band gotten you guys laid?
No comment.
I've been playing bass for 16 years, and I think I've got 2 dates one time from playing a show.
Nice.
From what? From the same show, or you just
The same person.
Same thing.
That
2
was
dates.
10 at least 10 years ago. That was 11 years ago. So there you go.
Well, I think, yeah.
Man, the bad boys of rock and roll have gone. They're
Easy,
they're
guys, you
gone,
guys.
man. That
In
was
my-
years ago, man. That was like my dad's era.
Yeah.
In my defense, I could probably try harder.
So what is this era? What is this era of
Too much.
Yeah.
Too much everything, man.
too much everything?
I mean, there's too much music out there. I mean, it's like you said, if people are paying attention, great. A lot of people are just going to go and hang out and do whatever they planned on doing anyways. And if they catch a band, you really have to appeal to them in the first place. So if they're not coming to see you play, they're really probably most likely not interested, I would say.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, it's tough, and you just think, oh, I'll just start a Facebook page, and this will be it, and it'll all,
Right.
and it'll just blah, 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 and then you hit your circle of friends, and great, you get all those likes and whatnot, and then you just go, okay, now what?
And then you show up
Doesn't
and
keep-
you see like 4 people like, oh,
Yeah.
right. I'm glad 4 people I know are
Right,
here.
yeah, or like when you're, you just go, come on, if you just share it, more people will see it.
That's
Why
too
isn't
much work.
anybody sharing?
It's too much
So
work.
yeah, I've kind of decided that Facebook's not so much of a good way for me to. I mean, it's cool for me to promote my podcast on to everybody that's already locked in on it, but trying to circle out is still kind of hard. Okay, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back here on another hour with Rod.
Zombies, they come marching with vampires in the air, and all the hellhounds on the trail. The wolfman, he don't care, 'cause you don't stand the ghost of a chance if he gets his claws in you. And if you're his next victim, you know your name's on.
Welcome back to another hour with Rod. We were just talking about social media and all that stuff, and it gives everybody the opportunity to put their stuff out there, but it also gives everybody the
Waters everything down.
But I really think that, like I said, I think nowadays it's like longevity and getting and maintaining a presence in the area and conquering new ones if you can. You ever guys thought about wanting to play shows elsewhere, getting out of Louisville and Chicago? Some of those scenes are pretty all right, but I
We've
think
talked
Indy's
about
got
it.
I really think you got to conquer Indy as like a working class band nowadays. I really do. I think you got to conquer your area. Because if you can't, if you are, and like everybody, we all have to work. So I think it's better just to get your area down pat and get a solid following.
You got to take care of stuff at home first. But I always love getting out of town to go play somewhere. And obviously, you have to get to a certain point before you can do that. But it's almost harder to make a name for yourself as a local act because people say, "Oh, it's a local band." If you go out of
right.
town,
Right.
people are like, "Well, they're good enough to be, coming from Indianapolis down to Louisville or whatever." That people, assume that you at least cleared the bar, a certain bar of quality to be good enough to
Right. Yeah.
tour regionally.
Right. Yeah. No. And I like that sort of the comic approach to it. It's like you lay your base, your roots, and you practice, you hone your skills, and then
And
you
fake it till you make
and
it.
you fake it to it. And that's
Also
isn't-
important.
And that and that's a great topic that always comes up in my my podcast because it's like I said, it's more about the guys that do it. Not the guys that are the best at it, the guys that
Exactly.
just do it, regardless. And if, like I said, if you keep rolling with it, and you're good. I mean, that's obviously when we talk about all this other stuff of of establishing your band. That means, I mean, it's already been established. You guys really do kick ass, man. I really like the few
Thank you.
tracks that I've
Thanks.
heard. Interesting. You guys don't mind if I play some of them on this episode? Kind of a
Go ahead, man.
intro and kind of
Yeah.
fill that last
Go
break.
for it.
Yeah, cool. So the last song, the song you've heard already, was a track by Wolf and the Wereboys. Yeah, so thank you guys for doing that.
You got it.
Oh shit, there was something else I was gonna. Oh yeah, cause so when you got together, I don't know if you guys touched on this, but so when it was established that you five were gonna be in the group together, what's the lead singer's name again? Wolf.
Wolf.
Chris Wolf.
Chris Wolf. I was gonna say Chris, but yeah, I'm afraid of the wrong. Was it Rob? No.
Yeah.
Chris Wolf. Did he sort of? You guys got together and you were just like, well, what do you guys got? And he's like, well, I've got all these songs, or whatever. Did he assume the role, or was it just?
It was more of we had all met, minus Wolf, Drew, Tim, Steve, and myself met at Chili Water where Drew works, to kind of just meet and greet for the first time and discuss our musical.
Yeah, well, this was the first time we'd met. Tim and I were at, Horse and I were at the meeting
drawing.
where they actually drew the names.
Yeah.
But as far as meeting everybody else, we got together the first time I met Tim and Drew and Chris. Chris wasn't there; he couldn't make it. But if you've seen like one of the videos, something's probably apparent. But the four of us, the Wereboys, we're all pretty close in age, and then Wolf is a lot older than the rest of us. So I think it was Drew had the idea. Was like, well, obviously he's the front man.
Right.
Oh,
And
yeah,
we're like,
it just-
and we're like
that's how it had
his
to
young
be.
team backing
Right,
him up
right.
or something.
Yeah, as the old man drummer.
Yeah.
What was
You
that
can't
movie with? There was some movie where the old man gets recruited to play the drums for the young.
Oh, the rocker.
Yeah, is it the rocker?
Rocker.
Yeah.
Is it the rocker?
Yep.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that movie.
It's
It's a little silly, but that's okay.
Is it? Yeah. I think I've seen part. I think I've seen part of it. I think, but who is that? What's his face? Who's the?
Rainn Wilson
Yes, yeah.
from Dwight from The Office.
Yep.
Right. James, off topic, man. Have you seen the Game of Thrones trailer that just came out today for the new
Today?
season? Today.
Oh man. Can we take a break?
Game of Thrones.
Oh, why did you have to tell me that?
Sorry, yeah.
Thank you though.
Listen, yeah, we've got about another 20, 25 minutes here, and then you can let your whistle. But you watch Game of Thrones, Steve?
Me? No, I don't have the list of shows that people have told me I need to watch is I don't even know how long it is. It's really long.
Yeah.
But
That's what she said.
I feel the same. I feel the same way. I don't keep up on any, and I always get into a conversation with somebody at work, and they'll be like, "Oh, you," and they'll quote a reference. They go, "Oh, you seen True Detective, right?" And I'm like, "No." I'm like, you gotta see it, and that's literally I have a list of like 30 fucking shows that do
Yeah.
that, and I'm the same way. I don't watch it. I'm just so busy, man.
I've got really a short list of shows that I try to keep up with, and that's like, it's really it, I guess.
Right. Yeah, Game of Thrones is
And-
my one.
And honestly, most days, if most TV I watch, I'm just sitting down. Oh, I need to eat dinner. Put the TV on, and a lot of times I'd feel like I'd rather just watch this episode of South Park that I've watched a dozen times than get into something new.
Right, yeah. Or even you turn it on right when the commercials. I'm like, fuck! Now I've got to find a channel that doesn't have. That's not on commercials right now. Fucking shit. Oh, what do you know? Big Bang Theory again. Anyway, man. So yeah, James, you're still writing though. I mean, didn't you say now you wanted to record an album of your own? Were you talking about recording some
Yes,
tracks, some country flavored tins?
Sort of. I had told my roommate I had set a deadline. I said, okay, March 1st, I want to actually get started on this. I've been working on it. I've recorded one track, a demo track. That's it. I've got about 4 or 5 other tracks, just kind of in the mix, I guess, that I haven't gotten serious about. I don't know what's really going to happen with them because I don't know that it fits the Wereboys style or that anybody even wants to play it.
Right. Yeah.
So it's just transitional material at this point. And if it If it gets recorded, it does. If
Oh.
it doesn't, you know what? Hey, I've got a whole stash of that stuff already.
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel. That's sort of what I'm. I don't know if relegated is the word too. That's where I've been positioned as far as a musician. It's like I kind of dislike turning on my little recorder and I'll record a little strum of.
I'm happy
something
with it
and
being in my voice memos on my
that's it.
phone.
Right. Yeah. Well, yeah.
You
I've
know?
done that. Yeah. I've done that. Yeah. Enough too. Yeah. Enough times too. But shit. So what are some of the bands you guys are into nowadays? What are some of the stuff you guys been listening to? Like James, what's in your car stereo right now?
Right now? Oh, it's been a bunch of crazy, random post-hardcore punk rock, acoustic stuff. Well,
Any
lately-
acoustic tracks?
no, I've been listening to a lot of the Jayhawks, who are going to be here on May 14th. So after Folk Fest, I'm heading straight to the Vogue to check that out. Wilco has been in heavy rotation.
Nice. Yeah.
Pavement,
Pavement. Yeah.
Velvet Underground, Bowie, of course.
Yeah, everybody kind of threw him in
Right.
rotation in the past couple of months. Yeah. Yep. Getting back to this, I wish, I should be slick and have, like, the internet up, and I do. But, Thurston Moore Band was going to be in town
Oh, yes.
for what is that? You guys know what festival that is? That Radio
Fountain Square
doing that?
Music Fest.
Fountain Square Music Festival?
Yes, and Andrew WK, Kishibashi, handful of others. Surfer Blood.
Yeah, man, that's,
Great shows coming around.
Yeah,
I'm really
love-
excited about Block Party and the Vaccines. So I'm pretty stoked.
Block Party and the Vaccines.
Yes.
What's that?
Block Party. Pretty sure that-
The band. No, okay, sorry. Yeah, the band Block
and
Party.
then
I was like,
the band, the Vaccines.
I was like, oh, they're having a block party to give vaccines. Like that sounds tight. Because there's so much sort of charity stuff involved with a lot of this stuff now, which is what's great. And I think we can tie that into something that you guys are doing. Is there something you guys want to mention as far as what's going down with the folk festival or something?
Yeah. Well, first of all, speaking of mentioning charity, the Folk Fest is they donate a portion of it's free, but they get there's a lot of sponsored stuff, and I apologize I don't have all the details up handy, but there is a charitable aspect to it, or at least there was last year. I'm sure that information is on the website, but with it being free and everything, they are having a fundraiser show for it featuring some of the acts that are a part of the festival, including us, and that is April 8th in Fountain Square at the Southeast Community Services building. I believe I'm getting that name right. We play at 11. I don't remember offhand when it starts. I don't know if I know when it starts.
I don't
offhand.
I don't know if
But
I
we
do
play at
either.
11. So we'll give a little taste of what our main stage performance will be like. But we do have that coming up again, April 8th, which is Friday. That's Friday, right?
Yes.
Wait, let me
Yes.
check out. Yeah, that's Friday. So I was just looking at the lineup for the folk festival, man. That looks like fun. I'm definitely gonna try because it's gonna be nice, guys. So get out. If you're in the city, get out. I think everybody's ready. I think in this, especially today. Today was just freaking gorgeous, and I think this is a perfect kind of event for people to get out and go. Oh yeah, it's gonna be spring. Hopefully, I don't know. I don't want to jinx this, but I don't really believe in that so much. Whip Stitch Sally's will be playing there too. Indiana
Yeah.
Boys. Yeah. Cool, man. That's really awesome. Yeah, and we'll make sure to plug that again. April 8th in Fountain Square at the Southeast Community Services Building. 11 a.m. You guys are going to be playing there.
11 p.m.
11 a.m.
Yeah, this is
I wrote down A, man.
Right.
Friday night.
Oh. So
It'd be nice to get out of work a little
we
bit
plug
early
that again.
on a Friday.
Right.
Don't think that'll happen though. Couldn't get that lucky. Not on a Friday.
No, that's tight. Okay, shit. What else I was gonna? So there's So sometimes on the show we like to get into rock and roll and music conspiracy theories. Do you guys have any? Have you guys dabbled in some of these? The last one we were on was Otis Redding, Plane Crash, who 3 days after recording Dock of the Bay, we were talking, and somebody else had mentioned that how ironic that they found him in the Dock of the Bay 3 days later. But but theoretically, he died in a plane crash that crashed into a lake, and then I think he was found at the tributary of that lake, of some sort of the river met the lake or something like that. So, and then it's sort of the guy. This is my co-host Reese, who's on the podcast a lot, that talked about that he was murdered for that reason. But I don't want to get into the Otis Redding one. I'm more interested in, because I'm not sure. It's kind of hard to have a conspiracy theory about a plane. You know, maybe they could have, loosened a screw or something like that. I don't know. But more interesting. Do you guys heard about the Jimi Hendrix one? Do you guys know anything about this? Is there any validity to Jimi Hendrix, and something about a manager and him going to, because Jimmy was, from what I remember, he was starting to get out there. He was getting into his Sgt. Pepper kind of Brian Wilson experiment sound kind of, like he was talking about the new sound, and I think he started Ladyland, and he was trying to do stuff on his own more, and I think that might have made a disconnect with either his manager, I think, or somebody, like his manager, but just that Jimmy died, and then they found his girlfriend dead from an apparent suicide a couple days later, and so manager had means to gain from the passing. Have you guys heard this one?
I have not heard
No?
it.
Not specifically, but I mean, there's always, anytime somebody's blowing up like that, there's always a potential for extremely strained relationships. But yeah, I hadn't heard the details of that particular theory.
It's kind of, I don't know, because you can never know. That's the thing.
I know.
Can never fucking.
One of the guys in the band, a while ago, after practice, we were just just chatting on our, loading our cars up and that kind of thing. Somebody was talking about, I forget if it was a book or a documentary or something, but about Cobain.
Yeah, that's what I was going to get into
Yes.
next. Perfect segue, yeah.
That's one I could possibly believe in.
Yeah.
But I care very little.
All right, well, here's what...
You can't see my fingers right now, but it's about a centimeter or less.
They're very close together.
So, yeah, that montage of Heck came out, and when I saw it, man, like... I'm such a sucker when they tell me they're doing a fucking documentary, and I'm like, oh man, this is done really well and it's really nice. And then come to find out, a whole big portion of that was a taped recording of Kurt Cobain basically telling a bullshit story about him having sex with a retarded girl. I shouldn't say retarded now. Mentally handicapped girl when he was in high school. And Buzz Osborne was like, no, I went to school with him. I was like, no, he's full of shit. He would say all kinds of shit. So that kind of turned me off of the montage of Heck one. And then that Soaked in Bleach came out after that. And that's like, well, now they don't have any permission from anybody. And I didn't watch it. I'm like, I'm kind of over that one now. I'm kind of ready to let him go. Because, and then I listen to Nirvana and there are times more times than not, where I go, yeah, they're all right. You know what I mean? Structurally, I'm like, yeah, it's good. I don't think he was anything, and I really don't think a lot of people really are. I think we give him that title of being this. It's just a guy that wanted to write music, and at the end of the day, his songs weren't great. And
if enough people say it, it's got to be true.
Well, I was never big into Nirvana, but they were. I mean, my understanding is that started a very drastic change. The whole grunge thing was very good. So it's not. Anytime anybody does something like that, whether it's music or technology or whatever, anytime somebody does it first, they might not necessarily be the best at it compared to other people that end up doing that same thing, but just that it sparked that change or whatever.
Yeah, for whatever reason
they were. A lot of appreciation, a lot of praise, perhaps, depending on the case, perhaps a little more praise than is warranted based on it as as a standalone.
Right.
thing.
Yeah. Based on it with some perspective. Yeah. Maybe even objectively. No, but and I agree. And they just were they just happened to be at the cusp of that wave, man. For whatever reason, it was just catchy enough and just enough. I mean, it was obviously different than the hair metal bullshit that was going on.
Right.
And
That's one good thing that came out of it.
Right, just the right sort of. Because, I mean, there were great bands that were rolling hard, doing their thing well before Nirvana. And Violent Femmes, Pixies, all those coming to the top.
Well, see,
same circle. Husker Du.
That's something I would like to talk
Tom
about. Like
Waits.
when you shine the light on a few groups and have them emerge from whatever scene, you're still leaving some bands in the dark to be discovered, who never get that credibility, and they just they develop their own sound and they become something greater. You know, I mean, if you think about all the bands that came from Seattle at that time. How many of those great bands do you still listen to nowadays? You know?
No.
I mean,
you're right.
No?
Yeah, I'm trying to think. No.
Pavement?
No. Yeah, but they're more of a. I consider them. Pavement's more like a Stockton.
Sonic Youth is from.
Sonic Youth's from New York. Now I was gonna say
Okay, all right, I
Sonic
thought they
Youth
were.
because of there was a video that came out and it was called 1991, the year punk broke, and it was Nirvana's tour in '91 and they had Sonic Youth in it, and so that's what I was kind of catching off you when you were just talking about sort of it also can help get the peripheral bands some light, because Sonic Youth came from me listening or checking out Nirvana. Then they were opening up for Sonic Youth. I listened to Sonic Youth and it was over. I was like, oh no, these are the guys. Because for me, I don't know. I've always loved that band. I've always loved really 2/3 of that band because some of their songs I can't get with. Like everything, I guess. But no, yeah. So and then you go, how do you just do it at that level, the Sonic Youth level, where they're in everybody's sort of vocabulary? I mean, anybody from here down, and now even the millennials, they're the grandfather sort of part of that group, of these now grandfather musicians, which sounds crazy because the ones we think of are the ones that are dying right now. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's like how great to be a Stephen Malkmus or Thurston Moore. Gosh, man, to be like where you're just solid enough. You have just the right amount of fans to maintain, just the right amount to be interested in you. And I think they said if you can get 2,000 people, just 2,000 people that dig whatever you do, you can survive. You put out enough stuff, based on that. Not that all 2,000 are always going to buy all your.
That's a lot of people to please, and that's still a lot of work.
But something if you can get that's sort of somebody, a scientist somewhere figured out that number, and they said that's 2,000, and it might even be 20. I'm that bad. In fact, I have a section of the show where I do corrections.
Depends how many
some fact checking.
Depends how many people are in the band.
Right, that too.
You know.
There you go. Well,
Right.
A three-piece band has to sell a lot fewer records than an 8-piece funk band. For everybody to.
Yeah. And speaking of bands, Violent Femmes, they're still the 3-piece, still the 3 guys, still doing the same shit. The songs still sound like Violent Femmes songs, but I mean, I don't know. I've always liked their style and they're one of the bands I didn't really care for. Some you got to kind of branch your sound out a little bit. Some bands you kind of like that sit in that zone that do it well,
right?
But make things interesting enough that I haven't heard the whole new record, but I did hear the single and it's pretty good. But I kind of what part of me goes, oh, because there's only 3 of them, that's a little bit easier to maintain those things. But then again, when they're with the Police, there are only 3 people in the Police.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And they didn't really. They were very volatile, right? I think those were egos, right?
Yes, they don't get along. Not on stage anyway.
Right.
Not anymore.
I always think about splitting the check when you look at what's that band, the Polyphonic Spree, like 20 people. I was like, oh wait, no, you guys are a cult. You guys don't really care about money.
Exactly.
Only the dictator has the money.
Are they really a cult?
No, they just look like one in their robes.
They look like a cult.
Yeah, they do. Shit, man. Oh yeah. So, I love those little tangents. That makes me funny. But no, man, I just I'm gonna come out. I'm gonna come out and see you guys. I haven't had a chance to get out really even this the past couple of weeks. Really, not having money, it sucks. But I think I have my son this weekend, so I don't know if I'll catch the show this weekend. Saturday, where is it at?
The Office Sports Pub in Whitestown.
There you go.
8 p.m.
8 p.m.
8, 9 punk rock time.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go. So check that one out. And what you are at the Virginia Avenue Folk Festival?
The
Is that
Folk
what it's called?
Festival, yes, noon on the main stage, May 14th, Saturday.
And then April 8th, you guys are at the Fountain Square Southeast Community Services building, correct?
Fundraiser.
Yes, that's a fundraiser for the Folk Fest. You know, try to raise money to help keep it free, and I guess that's the main idea.
And a week after that, we are playing at the Sinking Ship 2 again.
That's right.
April 15th, 10 p.m., I believe.
Nice,
Something like
nice,
that.
nice. Okay, so where can people check you guys out online? Where you guys are on Facebook, I assume?
Yeah, Wolf and the Wereboys on Facebook.
SoundCloud, Bandcamp.
You can actually, what is it, $4? Something like that, $4 or $5. You can
you
actually
get ripped off no matter how much it is.
you can buy that live set from that was not the challenge, but
second
the
radio show.
Yes, the second time we played at Radio.
Where you could save your $4, come see us for free, and get the exact same experience, just better.
Yes,
Or you could
Or you can do
support
both.
the group and throw some money their way. It'd be
But
great.
yeah.
It never hurts.
We
You
need to
guys-
record.
Are you guys on?
So-
Are you guys
Well,
on?
obviously.
Do you guys do the Twitter or any of that? Any of that there? I don't.
think we have an Instagram. I think there's one picture on it.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice.
There you go, man. Just like them. Just follow them on Instagram, and you won't have to worry about them filling up your Instagram feed with useless pictures. They'll just be the one.
Just
and you'll
the
know
one.
that they're
In case
there
you forget
with
what we
you.
look like, just
Right.
there you
That's-
go.
that's-
Hop on your phone.
that's-
Oh, I remember those guys.
I think Instagram is Drew's job.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so.
And we have a Gmail, right?
Yes.
Business
yes,
stuff?
Yes, we
I don't-
do.
I don't understand that.
So yeah, that's important if you want to. If anyone out there listening wants to get a hold of us, I will. wolfandthewereboys@gmail.com.
How?
Howl at us, and if anyone with any of these methods is fine. Just get a hold of us and ask us anything you want to ask us, and
Right there you go. So get.
someone will respond.
Yeah. Basically, just get looped into the stream, and you guys will I'm sure they'll know all of the stuff that's coming up. In case you forgot here, but once again, lots of stuff coming up for you guys. I'm happy. I'm so glad you guys came on the show.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, happy to be here.
Yeah, man, I appreciate it, and I want to get back with you guys again in the future. We're gonna keep checking with you guys, and we're gonna keep getting you on, and we're gonna keep promoting the band and doing what we do. And
Cool.
thank you for listening to another Hour with Rod. I've been your host, Rod, and I appreciate Pizza Steve and Horse from Wolf and the Wereboys sitting down and talking with me and indulging my rock and roll conspiracy BS. Once again, you guys can check them out Saturday. That's more than likely today or tomorrow for most of the people that check this out. That's Saturday, March 12th, the Office Sports Pub in Whitestown, or you can go ahead and, if you're getting this after that, check them out on the 8th of April at the Fountain Square Southeast Community Services Building. Excuse me, I have to... Damn, heartburn. I ate lasagna from Patrick's. The Fountain Square Southeastern Community Services Building at 11 p.m. on the 8th of April. And then the big one, the Virginia Avenue Folk Festival, is, once again, that's May 14th on Virginia Avenue in Fountain Square of Indianapolis. And that's it for me. I'm going to go ahead and
So I'm gonna go ahead and call it a night for me and my cat Mimi. I'm Rod, and I'm out.
Oh God, that's so high.
That sounded like a song.
Could you even hear how high that was? My dogs are probably like, whoa!